Bets. It's the Get That Money podcast. As always, I am Nate Stephenson, joined by Mr. Big Boof Scureman and Mr. Tony T-Bone Guarino. How is everybody doing today?
Pretty good, man. Long day at work. I'm a lot happier now that we get to hang out and talk a little football.
How about you, Tone?
Yeah. I mean, if you recall last year, my wonderful research that I was doing to see how close we were to the big earthquake to drop San Francisco into the sea, I am similarly doing the same research to find out how much the water level needs to rise to put Jacksonville underwater. But other than that, it was a good week, and I'm definitely looking forward to just breaking down and getting into week 3 here.
I hear you, man. That's good to hear from both you guys for sure. I honestly am in a better mood today than I was yesterday. Honestly, I can't complain. I went into Monday night already up over 40 units. I had a fantastic weekend, and all I needed was the Saints to beat the lowly Raiders for another 60 plus, around 60 more units, which would have just been one of the best weekends ever for me. So, needless to say, unfortunately, the lowly Raiders proved to not be the lowly Raiders, and which we'll definitely get into how the Saints looked a little later about that. So, I was a little down on Tuesday, but at the same time, had to just, look in the mirror and be like, dude, you still had a great weekend. I'm about to get that money this week, so let's go. I'm good. I got over it, got the right mindset. I'm happy. So with that, Boof, how'd the locks do last week?
We had a podcast record 8 locks last week. We went 4-4, so we were kind of treading water. We had the Bills minus 5.5. They started well against Miami, but we kind of got backdoored by them at the end. Titans minus 8 against the Jags, which I felt really good about. We've kind of undervalued the Jags at this point. I think you got to show them a little bit more respect. The Vikings, we had +3 on the road against the Colts. We were just dead wrong on that one. The Colts kicked our butt. We had the Chiefs minus 8.5. And Justin Herbert got the call due to a fluky pregame injury to Tyrod Taylor, where I guess someone on the medical staff punctured a lung or something. But anyway, Justin Herbert played really well, and the Chiefs barely snuck away with a 3-point victory, so we did not cover there. Our winners we had the Rams in a pick'em against the Eagles. That was really never in doubt. We had the Niners minus 7 against the Jets. That was also never in doubt. Cardinals minus 6.5, also never in doubt. And the Ravens minus 7, which was also never in doubt. So we were on cruise control with our wins. 4-4, that makes us 6-7 on the season, 46%, and ready to move on to week 3.
All right, with that, let's roll right into Thursday. Let's start things off with Miami Dolphins at my favorite Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are going to lay 3, and your over-unders at 48.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. There's absolutely no way I cannot let this pass with the Jags giving points. I'm taking Miami +3.
It's a trap.
This might be a trap bet of how the Jags have surprisingly not been as bad as we all thought they were going to be. I think the verdict still might be out a little bit, just whether or not it's teams getting into the swing of things still, with it being early in the season and no preseason and whatnot. So time will tell there. But I refuse to believe that Gardner Minshew is as good as he's showing. I don't think he's a horrible quarterback. I think he's going to be in the NFL for a long time, probably as a backup somewhere. But I refuse to believe he's this good. The Jaguars literally got rid of most of the talent that they have. So I just don't see there. I cannot give up the opportunity to get points facing the Jaguars, and at that, field goal. So now I'm taking Miami here, and I actually believe Miami's going to win the game as well.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it played out exactly like that. But just to kind of tell you guys a little story here, before the games actually started for week 2, I was able to get a look at the upcoming Thursday game, which was the Jags in Miami, and Miami was either a pick 'em or they were +1. So I was like, oh man, I can't believe they're not like -6 or something. So I went ahead, I placed a bet on them already before the week 2 games. And then obviously we had Tennessee as a lock against them as well. Well, watching the games on Sunday, and Jacksonville's just playing awesome. And, they obviously busted my Titans bet. And I wish at this point I could get my money back because I'm definitely worried that Jacksonville's going to win this game. And I turned to Nate while we're watching the games. I'm like, I think we got to start showing Jacksonville some respect and start showing Gardner Minshew some respect. And the reality is they've played the Colts and the Titans, who are divisional opponents and both who we consider to be pretty good teams going into the season here. And they have scored 27 and 30 points respectively. So you got to show Jacksonville some love here. I don't know if I would quite ready to take them, but I'm definitely afraid to go against them. So I am staying away.
Smart man. All right, let's go into Sunday's action and kick things off with the Chicago Bears at the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons laying 3, and you're over/under at 47.5.
The Bears still suck. They're a fraud at 2-0, and there's no way. I mean, there's always a way, but there's no way I see them beating Atlanta here. Atlanta only giving a field goal at home, looking good on offense. They should have beat Dallas last week, except for the special team coach apparently forgetting to tell his hands team that they can actually touch the ball before it goes 10 yards. If not for that, they beat the Cowboys last week. It should have never even got to that point. Dallas is way better than Chicago. Trubisky, I think Bitchke's going to come back out. So no way. Give me Atlanta -3. This is a lock for me.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we are the beneficiaries of Atlanta being 0-2 and Chicago being 2-0. Otherwise, this would have been probably a -6, somewhere in that territory. So I love Atlanta -3 here. Like you said, I don't believe in Chicago at all. I still think they're going to hit the under on their season win total. And I think they're due for a 3-game losing streak starting this week. Give me the Falcons -3. That's a lock for us.
Get that money.
All right, up next we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles will be laying 6, and you're over/under at 46.5.
I don't trust the Eagles to cover 6. I don't trust the Bengals to cover 6. I don't trust either of these teams. The Eagles are too hurt. The Bengals defense sucks too bad. I like what I'm seeing from Joe Burrow, but his offensive line sucks. There's too much suck in this game, and the equation does apply, so I'm passing.
The Bengals have quietly covered both of their first 2 games. They lost to the Chargers by 3 and the Browns by 5. Both of those were good enough to cover. I think we are in a similar situation again here. They might not win the game, but we're talking about 6 points here. And Joe Burrow, to me, looks great. I only expect him to get better throughout the season. You would think they can figure some things out on defense, but maybe not. But the problem is the Eagles' offense has not been good, so I don't know how much they're going to be able to take advantage of a subpar Bengals defense right now. So I think the Bengals are at +6 are good enough to bet. I think you can feel pretty confident taking the +6 there.
All right, moving on, we have the Houston Texans at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are laying 3.5 and the over/under at 45.
I like the Steelers to win here, but over a field goal, the Steelers they tend to play down to their competition. They rarely blow anybody out. I know I said that before. The Texans, I don't think, are a very good football team, but you have Deshaun Watson, and I definitely would give them a puncher's chance in this game just because of that alone. And yeah, there's not really much else more I can really have to say about this. Yeah.
I mean, I think the Texans are getting rated too low right now. I know they're 0-2. You got to keep in mind, I mean, they played Baltimore and Kansas City, who, in my opinion, are the two best teams in the NFL right now. So they get an opportunity going to Pittsburgh here. Obviously, the Pittsburgher in me really wants the Steelers to win. I think they're going to win, but we've already talked about my bias with that kind of stuff in the past. My favorite bet in this game is the over. I think Deshaun Watson is the type of guy that can give the Steelers defense trouble and kind of avoid the pass rush and make the secondary cover longer than they want to. And I think the Steelers on offense, I think, have been pretty good. So I do see this being more of a shootout type of game, and 45 is not that high. I mean, we're talking 24-21 would get you a push, 27-21 would get you a win, for example. And I think we can very easily hit that. I love the over 45 in this game.
Yeah, Boof, you actually, you know what? I got caught a little bit looking too much at the game there. I know we did talk about the total, so I do like that the Broncos game last week with all the Broncos injuries, they still covered that. That was 26-21 was 47. The Steelers have been shown that they're just getting better and better on offense, and I think once they get ahead, the defense softens up a little bit. And like you said, I do agree with Deshaun avoiding the rush some and still making some plays and scoring some points. So I can definitely get down with 45. So I'll lock that with you.
Yeah, let's lock it, baby.
Let's lock it. Get that money.
Next, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the New England Patriots. The Patriots laying 5.5, and you're over/under at 47.5.
So I'm going to take the Patriots here, -5.5. Not because I'm pissed at the Raiders for this past Monday, but because I do actually think it's a good bet. I heard of some very interesting logic that the Raiders having to come east on a short week after a big win opening their new stadium. I heard they're out celebrating pretty good after that game. The Patriots coming off a loss against the Seattle Seahawks last week where they were stopped at the 1-yard line going in for the win. Bill Belichick is not someone I necessarily want to face coming off a loss. And damn if he doesn't have freaking Cam Newton and the Patriots looking like they can actually still contend this year. So I think the Patriots are pretty good at not only under a touchdown, but under 6 points. I will gladly lay those and give me the Pats.
I would agree that I am impressed with New England. I'm just also impressed with the Raiders. They've been able to run the ball in each of their first 2 games. Derek Carr's been looking good throwing it. I mean, defensively, they've been I don't know. I mean, we're talking on FanDuel, I can get them at +6.5. For me, that's good enough. I would actually go with the Raiders in this one. And I think Gruden's kind of finding his mojo a little bit as well, just calling plays. They had it was awesome. They had, in one of their goal line situation ones, they had a play where they send Waller in motion, and he's like sprinting pre-snap. And so it looks like they're just trying to get him a head start into the flat and just hit him for a quick one at the pylon for a touchdown. Well, they snap the ball, and everybody goes flying after Waller, and it just leaves this void right behind him for an easy touchdown, throwing it to the fullback. I was very impressed with the play design and just being ready for a situation like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes some of these older guys, they don't have any creativity in their offense. I thought that was a nice little wrinkle by them, and I look to see more of that from Gruden and company calling plays. So I don't know. I mean, at +6.5, that's good enough for me. I would actually take the Raiders here.
All right, let's take things over to the Los Angeles Rams at the Buffalo Bills. Bills laying 3 and the over/under at 47.5.
Oh, Boof, I'm sorry, buddy. I got to take the Rams +3. Both teams have looked really good, but on a neutral field, I think this should be a lot closer to a pick'em, honestly, because I think both these teams have looked pretty good on both sides of the ball. I think there's definitely similarities on both sides of the ball in terms of just how well they've been playing and some of their strengths. Just with the closeness of the teams, I think the Rams at +3 is a pretty good bet. I wouldn't go as far as to say I would lock it, but I'm heavy lean +3 with the Rams, and I'll definitely put that in some bets.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from. I think both teams are good. The Rams have definitely been better than I anticipated them being this season, and I gotta show them some respect here. I just worry about, I've been on the Bills for a while here. I do worry that the Bills can easily win a game by at least a field goal against them. So it's enough for me to stay away.
So you afraid that Aaron Donald is going to blow up the wagon train this week?
I am, yeah. I could easily see that happening.
He probably could. He could wreck a lot of stuff.
Up next, we have the San Francisco 49ers at the New York Giants. Giants are getting 4, and the over-under is at 41.
And speaking of things that it looks like Aaron Donald blow up, what the heck happened to the 49ers? Half of them are hurt. I don't know who they got left. This is just, I have never seen, at least in recent memory, a team go down with so many injuries this early in the season. I mean, I think they literally are down over half of their defensive starters and then 3 or 4 starters on offense. I mean, they're literally missing over half of their starting 11. Starting 22, if you count offense and defense. That's just insane. My inclination here is to go with the Giants +4. I know the Giants lost Barkley. It's definitely a big loss. But beyond that, their offense has been intact. They haven't been running the ball that great anyway. And Daniel Jones, I think, hasn't looked too bad the first 2 weeks of the season. I definitely see something there. I think he's improving. I mean, I think the Giants they're due for a win. And this is a great spot for them. I'm getting 4 points. Plus, on top of that, you already have in the 49ers heads that they're going right back to play in the exact same stadium since they played the Jets last week. They're going right back to the same stadium, playing on the same turf that they were just complaining about. And there's no way that's not going to be in the back of their minds, hoping that, the next person to get hurt on that turf isn't them. So you have all those things. I think the Giants +4 is a great bet. I'm definitely taking it. And I hope you join me, Booth.
I'm not going to be joining you, but I will share that during our discussion before we started recording, we did originally have the Giants as a lock. And so I dug a little deeper. The things that kind of scare me away, I still worry about San Francisco being able to run the football. I know they lost Mostert and Garoppolo, but they were still able to run the football well against the Jets last week. Despite all of that. And then the Giants have been poor against the run this season. So I still think that's a matchup that the 49ers can exploit in their favor. And then the other thing, so 2 years ago, Jimmy G goes down, and the 49ers only won 4 games. Well, about halfway through the season, Nick Mullins took over. Nick Mullins won 3 of them. He went 3-5 on a team that went 4-12. So I think he can play. I think he's NFL capable, and it's enough to scare me away from the bet.
Boo.
All right, well, let's run and hide into our next game, which is the Tennessee Titans at the Minnesota Vikings. The Titans are going to lay 2.5, and the over-under is at 47.
Yeah, I see a Derrick Henry curb stomp beatdown. Very similar to what Jonathan Taylor did to the Vikes last week. The Vikings, those injuries on defense definitely came into play last week. We were dead wrong, honestly, and I am not ashamed to reverse course and learn from what I see. And right now, the Vikings don't look like a very good football team on either side of the ball. And the Titans, conversely, coming in 2-0. They should have beat Denver by double digits, if not for Gostkowski giving away 10 points. They were up on the Jags. I honestly, I think let up a little bit on the Jags. I just think everyone's taken the Jags lately, even the Titans. I think that's what they did last week. They let Jags come back into the game, and then the Titans won it late. I just think there's a lot to like with Tennessee here. They're one of the few teams in the league that, to my knowledge, is pretty healthy still. So you give me under a field goal. I like that. I will take that all day and look for Derrick Henry to have a big day as we lock the Titans in at -2.5.
Yep, like you said, I love the Titans -2.5 as well. It is a lock for us. And I pretty much agree with all of the points that you made there.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
Okay, our final 1 o'clock game will feature the Washington football team at the Cleveland Browns. Browns are going to lay a touchdown here, and the over-under is at 44.5.
So, Tone, I got to say, you had the Washington football team. I'm surprised I actually said that right the first time. On the spreadsheet as WFT. And it's like, WFT? WTF? Oh, WFT.
Not much difference. Not much difference, yeah.
So, yeah, but you're right, though. So, WFT, WTF, equation applies. Pass.
I kind of like WFT here, +7. Reason being, pretty much, I just don't think Cleveland should be a full touchdown favorite against anybody in the league.
Agreed.
It's pretty much as simple as that. I mean, I think Washington's defense is a lot better than the Bengals' defense, so I don't see Cleveland just rolling up for 35. I think Washington will be able to slow down their ground game, which the Browns were able to get going a little bit last week. And I think it'll be enough for Washington to be able to cover 7. I would definitely take Washington +7.
Boof, let me remind you of something that we said last year a lot. Never bet on Dwayne Haskins.
I know that is obviously the scary part, so that's why we're not locking it. But if you want my pick, it's Washington +7.
All right, just making sure, baby.
Keep an eye out. I mean, that still might even come like kickoff time. That might get above +7. We might have some suckers out there.
I hear that.
All right, well, let's move along into the 4 o'clock hour, where we will start with the Carolina Panthers at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers laying 6.5, and the over-under at 44.
I love this a lot more at Panthers +7. I was actually willing to lock this at Panthers +7. But unfortunately, other people liked it a lot too. And it is down to Panthers +6.5. I do think the Panthers have enough offensively to keep it close with the Chargers, if not even get the outright win, especially after the Chargers coming off that heartbreaking loss to the Chiefs. They laid it all out there. For some reason, the Chargers seem to play the Chiefs tough. And that was something that I personally definitely overlooked last week. Honestly, with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback, I just thought that the Chiefs were going to scrub them. And for some reason, though, the Chargers still played the Chiefs tough and covered that game last week. Now, this week, they're supposed to start Herbert again. I think the Panthers come prepared to play a rookie quarterback, and they keep this game pretty close with their offense. And that combined with the Chargers' conservative style of play, I just think you're looking at a pretty close game and under a touchdown. So I still wouldn't hate the Panthers at +6.5, but I like it a lot more at 7.
Yeah, I mean, no Christian McCaffrey, so obviously an enormous loss there for the Panthers offensively. I think you had to be impressed with what Herbert was able to do last week with the Chargers offense. I don't know. I think the spread's about right. It's a scary one for me either way. I am passing.
All right, up next we have the New York Jets at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts laying a whopping 10.5 with the over-under at 44.
I will be continuing to ride the bet against the Jets train. They're trash. Been trash. Still trash. Now guys are hurt, so they're more trash. I would lay over 2 touchdowns in this game. So Colts are only -10.5. I liked what I seen from them against the Vikings last week, and the Jets are way worse than they are. So I don't care that it's double digits. I rarely lay double digits. I rarely comfortably lay double digits. But damn it, I will do both of those things in this game. I'm locking the Colts at -10.5, baby.
Yeah, I'm with you on it, brother. And I would actually like to amend one of my previous statements. Cleveland should not be a full touchdown favorite against any team in the league except for the Jets. And until these lines start to hit over +14, I don't care who the Jets are playing. I'm going to be taking the other team. Colts looked good last week, so I feel even better about that. We're still at home, and we're ready to kick some butt. Colts minus 10.5. Lock it in, baby.
Lock it in. Get that money.
Up next, we have the Dallas Cowboys at the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are laying 5, and you're over/under at 55.5.
Really like Seattle to win this game. Don't think the Cowboys are in the same class as Seattle, but that -5 is just such a weird number. And it's just like, that's one of those ones where I could see the Cowboys getting a late touchdown to get the deficit to 3 or 4. And then Seattle actually is intelligent enough to recover the onside kick as opposed to Atlanta last week. So I like Seattle to win, but that -5 just so weird. I'm going to pass it.
Yeah, if you made me, I would take Seattle -5. I do think they're the better team. They are at home. Dallas was down 19 or 20 last week, so they kind of had to pull off some heroic stuff to cover all that and eventually get the win. Another bet, I know the total is at 55.5, but I do like the over here. I can easily see this turning into both teams getting into the 30s. They both have a lot of firepower on offense and are kind of on defense. Both of Seattle's games have gone over that total. The Cowboys last week played in a game that hit 79 points. So I actually think the over, despite it being 55.5 points, is very bettable.
I can't argue with any of your logic there at all, Boof. But see, the thing is, maybe this is just a personal thing with me, but it seems like the majority of the time that I bet a high over, that's when it's like a defensive struggle uncharacteristically for at least half of the game, and then they don't even come within 10 points of hitting the over. I hear you. I can't ignore the logic, but I'm just like, oh my God, they have to get 56 on the board. Like, I can't do it. Can't do it. I can't trust Dallas. Seattle's going to score. I just can't trust Dallas to do their part.
Hey, fair enough, man. Fair enough.
All right, moving on. We have the Detroit Lions at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals laying 5 as well, and the over/under at 54.5.
You have an injured Lions secondary against what is quickly becoming one of the best offenses in the league, and the Cardinals are only laying 5 points. Oh my God! Give me the Cardinals all day. I'd sell some points to get this up over a touchdown and get some plus money. Man, Cardinals are going to scrub the Lions. I know we were on the Lions in the season preview, but unfortunately, just injuries on offense and defense, especially on defense, just wreaking havoc on that team. And the Cardinals are just getting better by the week. They look fantastic. I love Kyler Murray. I love what they're doing on offense. D-Hop and him are just making wonderful music together. Cardinals all day, baby. Locking that in.
Yeah, I'm with you. Until everybody gets on the Cardinals train, we are going to profit off of these beautiful lines that are presented to us. And we got the Cards, who are quickly becoming an NFC powerhouse. You got to be impressed with the way Kyler Murray is playing right now. The Lions have been, let's just call it what it is. The Lions have been bad, and I think this is a layup for us. So we're going to lock it in, and let's get that money.
Get that money.
All right, so for our final 4 o'clock game on Sunday afternoon, it'll be the Tampa Bay Bucks at the Denver Broncos, with the Buccaneers laying 6 and the over/under at 43.5.
I think we have a very similar situation here. The Broncos, a lot of injuries. They're even in a worse situation than the Lions, in my opinion, because they are down not only their number 1 wide receiver, but now they're down their starting quarterback. And then defensively, they're missing their top pass rusher in Von Miller and their top corner in A.J. Boye. So the Broncos hurting defensively as well. So you're giving me the Bucks under a touchdown here, getting healthy, getting better by the week as they play more, as they get more time together. Godwin coming back, so you're going to have the full complement together on offense this week. Fournette another week in the offense. I love the Bucks here. Give me the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers -6. Lock it in.
Yeah, I'm with you again. I love Tampa Bay here. Tampa Bay offensively started to find their mojo a little bit last week. Leonard Fournette was involved a lot more. I think that helps. Like you said, Chris Godwin comes back, so now they're going to be, with their full allotment of weapons offensively. And you mentioned all the injuries for Denver. I think this is another easy one for us. Tampa Bay -6. Let's lock it in.
Oh, yeah. Get that money.
All right, so that takes us to the Sunday night game, which will feature the Green Bay Packers at the New Orleans Saints. The Packers are going to get 3.5 here, and the over/under at 51.5.
As much as I want to crap on the Saints, and boy, do I after Monday night, I honestly think that there are going to be spots this year where you're going to look to fade the Saints, because I think you're starting to see the window closing on them. Drew Brees he looked old on Monday night, and he's never had the strongest arm in the world, but he's limping around out there. He's taking forever to get into the huddle. He's not throwing the ball much farther than 15 yards downfield most of the time. And even then, like, he made a very uncharacteristic read on that interception. He just doesn't look comfortable. He doesn't look good. He looks like he's getting old, and that really scares me when it comes to the Saints. And then on top of that, the Saints defense was facing a Raiders team without their number one wide receiver. They were down to their third string right tackle and down another offensive lineman, and the Raiders just jammed the ball down their throat the last 3 quarters of the game. I'm watching it and I'm just like, this is supposed to be one of the best teams in the NFC this year and contend for a Super Bowl. And right now I'm wondering if they're going to even make the playoffs. You take all that, and then now they're facing a Packers team that, in my opinion, is a better version in certain ways than the Raiders team they just played. They have a very similar back in Aaron Jones to the Raiders. And, you have Aaron Rodgers. I'm still going to take Aaron Rodgers over Derek Carr. I like the Packers here getting 3.5 points. They're looking fantastic to start the season here. I don't see how this is not a good bet at all. I will gladly take the points of the Packers here.
Yeah, I love the Packers here. I mean, for me, they're one of the top 3 teams in the NFC. I got them along with Seattle and Arizona. For me, you're getting the better team here with plus points. I understand Devontae Adams is out with the hammy, or potentially out with the hammy. But at the same time, Michael Thomas is still out for the Saints. So really, if you think about it, they're out the worst receiver, if you really want to break it down like that. I don't know. I'm just very impressed with Green Bay so far, and the Saints not as much. I love the Packers here, and let's lock that one in.
I'll lock it in. Get that money. Go, Pack, go.
All right, so we'll finish out our week on Monday night, as always, with the Monday Night Football featuring the Kansas City Chiefs at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens laying 4, and the over/under at 53.5.
Chiefs. My boys are getting 4 points this week. 4. Dude, lock it in.
No. Sorry, man. I think Baltimore right now is the best team in the league, and I don't have a problem with the -4. I think they will actually end up covering that. I would take Baltimore in this game. The over is 53.5. I would entertain the over for sure. I don't know. I'm not with you on the Chiefs this week, man. Sorry, brother. I got Baltimore.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, so last year, Chiefs won 33-28 at home against the Ravens. So that's the only one of recent precedent we have with the teams pretty much currently as constructed. So obviously, Chiefs won. That means they'd obviously cover because they're getting points here. So, but the thing here, Boof, if this was, all joking aside with my love of the Chiefs, if this was a true home game for the Ravens and they had a crowd there, let's be real. The crowd would be nuts. The crowd in Baltimore is really good anyway. But this would be one of those games that you're talking Monday night. Everyone's going to be in black and purple. Like, that crowd is going to be amped. That team is going to be amped. And I would agree with you. I think under those circumstances, I would definitely lean towards, if not even hard lean towards, the Ravens winning the game. and potentially even winning by more than 4 points. But that's not the situation here. This is basically it's basically a neutral site game. All games played without a crowd, for the most part, in my mind, are basically a neutral site game. So it's basically just best on best, no distractions, no excuses. And I think the best bet in this game might be the over 53.5. I think you're going to see a lot of points here. That's been a trend early in the season here in the NFL. A lot of points being scored, so wouldn't surprise me at all. I could see Lamar going off. I could see Patty Mahomes going off, just trading punches, man, saying, look, just basically playing one up with each other. So honestly, in the end, I think it's best to just stay away from this game. But trying to remove my bias, I do think the Chiefs +4 in what is, like I said, basically a neutral site game, in my opinion, is the most wise bet in this game, as far as if we're choosing a side.
That is fair enough, but I think we can just agree to disagree. The Chiefs, to me, have not been, the well-oiled machine offensively through the first 2 weeks here. It's been good enough to win, but this isn't like second half of the Super Bowl Chiefs right now. So obviously they are certainly capable of putting that together against Baltimore, but I haven't seen them operating at their highest level yet.
You know what, Boof? I think now's a great time. I think we got our first pizza box of the year right here, baby.
Pizza time!
I'll pizza box it.
Let's do it.
For the record, I got Ravens -3.5 on FanDuel, so if we're doing it, I want my -3.5.
Well, I'm taking my +4 on DraftKings, so that's fine with me too.
All right, man. It's on.
We'll each take the better number. May the best man win.
I like it.
All right. Well, with that wraps up our Week 3 games. So, as always, Boof, you want to take us out with a recap of the locks?
Yeah, we can do that. I think, Nate, did you have a teaser you wanted to share today, though, before we do that?
I'll tell you what. Let's do the locks here first, because my teaser definitely involves the locks plus some other stuff.
Okay, all right. That sounds good. All right, guys, we've got 7 locks this week, one less than our record high last week. We got the Falcons -3, Steelers and Texans over 45 points, the Titans -2.5, Colts -10.5, Cardinals -5, Bucks -6, Packers +3.5. And we have a teaser that we'd like to share.
Yeah, so I was having a little fun this week with our locks, and I came up with a couple two different versions of this teaser. So the first one is a 9-team teaser. It is going to be a 6-point teaser involving all of the locks, plus the Rams at +3 and the Chiefs at +4. So that would make the Chiefs +10, the Rams +9, the Packers +9.5, the Bucks getting no points, so basically money line. Cards at +0.5 point, so again, just win the game. Colts at -4.5, Titans at +3.5, and the Falcons at +3, and bumping the Texans Steelers over from 45 down to 39. Again, that would be a 9-team teaser, and that would give you +2,000 odds. And if you wanted to get a little extra freaky, you could add the Giants to that and make it a 10-team teaser, and that would make the Giants at +10, with a 10-team teaser with the Giants getting +2,500 odds. So $100 would win you $2,500. So I know it's a big teaser. Most of the time, people are doing 2 or 3-team teasers, and you definitely can't go wrong with that. Honestly, any combination of those for the most part. So, but that's if you really wanted to get freaky. As most people who know me know, I like to make a lot of parlays and have a lot of fun with that. So that's my big teaser parlay for y'all this week.
Hey, I love it, man. Thank you for sharing. Anything else anybody want to share before we're done here?
I'm like, let's just go 7-0 this week. How about that?
Yeah, I'm down with that. Let's go 7-0. Let's get that money. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the podcast to everybody. Best of luck to everyone, and let's get that money.
Get that money.